780.Masochist is a musician hailing from Pakistan who's set to release his masterpiece upcoming single, Griefscape. And he's with us here just now. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing incredible. That was an incredible introduction, man.
Thank you. Now, what's the inspiration behind this single, Griefscape?
Yeah, just the biggest thing is just that I believe, especially today and even post-pandemic,
Mm,
we just have a tendency to go through these incredibly turbulent emotions. And I think for a lot of people during the pandemic, at least, or even just in any part of their life, this is for people who kind of feel almost tortured by their thoughts and how
yeah.
their thoughts can essentially be a roller coaster. So it was really just combining all of these insane thoughts that we kind of go through during grief, for example, and then just combining it into a track. And for me, it was very therapeutic, and I'm really just hoping that people can resonate with it.
Absolutely. And how do you think it fits into the broader themes of your music?
Just that I think music is such a powerful medium to be able to express emotions. I've said it all the time. I think that music is probably the one space where you can be absolutely unapologetic with how you feel. You can't do that corporately. You can't even always do that with even friendships or with relationships. But with music,
Yeah.
that's the beautiful thing is that you can say whatever is truly on your mind, and as long as it's melodic and as long as it's authentic, it really just hits people. And I think that's what kind of resonates with the theme of my music is I'm really big on that. It's in my name, masochist. You
Yeah.
know, it's someone who thrives on pain, and that's really the biggest thing.
Absolutely. Now, I want to go back to the start. You had quite a diverse upbringing, didn't you? You know, interacting with schoolers, drug dealers, and pro athletes. So, how has that variety of experiences influenced your music and your perspective on life?
I think the biggest is that when you have that sort of diversity, people I guess people have a tendency to think that you may assume that people are all different. It really just actually narrowed it down that despite
Mm.
different backgrounds, everyone really just wants the same thing. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be endeared to. Everyone wants to live happy lives, bring food on their table, have someone they can console to. So I think that's just really the biggest thing is that no matter where someone came from, we all kind of just desire the same sort of happiness. And that really made a massive impact on me is that, yeah, like as different as we all are, we're all the same.
Absolutely. And how do you think your cultural heritage has influenced your music?
Definitely, yeah, it's interesting. In regards to a cultural, really just maybe just the discipline part, really just being able to form an identity with two different cultures. I think the biggest thing I would say, that's a good question.
Mm.
Just if in regards to even grief, I remember really early on, I think some of the experiences that I kind of live vicariously through my parents, and I guess even through relatives who aren't here, is that life doesn't really owe you anything, you
Yeah.
know? Like there's going to be things that happen in different parts of the world where you don't really understand why they happen, but it really did introduce me to manhood really quickly. When you hear on the news, you know, that there's people that have passed over due to circumstances that as like maybe a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, you can't really comprehend, right?
Mm.
It really impacted my desire to want to make the use every single day. And I think that's really powerful is that there's a sense of urgency. I don't take a single day for granted because I know that I have friends, relatives who live in those parts of the world and they didn't get that same opportunity to live a longer life or to even be here. So it makes me take life a lot more intensely.
Absolutely. And you've been influenced by artists like AP Dylan, Nelly Furtado, and XXX Tentacion. So, how have these influences shaped your sound, and what do you hope to kind of bring to the table that's unique to you?
Well, I think the biggest thing with those three artists is that they're all disruptors. They're all groundbreaking. They kind of beat to their own drum, and they provided something that was different without any fear of being judged. And I think that's kind of
Mm.
the biggest thing for me is that I'm not really the typical norm of a hip hop artist. I don't really fit their mold of what you would think that is. Like again, I was an engineer, yet like I knew people who were into some things that I wish I shouldn't have been a part of.
Yeah.
And really just being able to break what is traditionally known. That's kind of what I intend to kind of bring, as well as I can spit in different languages. I can do the melodic stuff. I can do the bar for bar type stuff. I think that's the biggest thing, and as well as I want to bring some sort of merit back to hip hop, because I feel like a lot of days in this fast food era of content, we just want to give out content that is easy to absorb,
Mm.
that doesn't really hit the heart and soul of what at least I grew up with hip hop to be, and that's kind of what I want to introduce, as well as being able to not just be virtuous. You know what I mean? Like I feel it's so easy to be virtuous, put up a nice music video that kind of embodies what we should do, but I really want to be able to take action also in regards to helping out the community.
Absolutely. And you've collaborated with some industry heavyweights as well, like Rick Ross, Eam Triplin, and Hoodrix, which must have been exciting. So, how do you think those collaborations have contributed to the evolution of your music?
Just that anything is really possible. I think the biggest thing that I realized is that these mythical figures that we kind of look up to that almost seem bigger than life. It's kind of the same thing with what I was talking to like initially when I first started talking to you is we're
Mm.
all human beings. Yes, it was very difficult to get a hold of people like this.
Yeah.
Sometimes for every moment that you kind of make a breakthrough, I swear I probably had 300 people tell me no. Nah, nah, and that's just something I kind of just brushed off my shoulder. So the biggest thing is perseverance, I think, and just that the possibilities are literally endless. I haven't really told anyone about like some of these collaborations outside of people who are in music because I know that they wouldn't really find it hard to conceptualize that, but it's
Mm.
very accessible and it's very easy to do. You just have to be willing to go through the rejection and a lot of the humiliating parts of music to get there.
Absolutely. And outside, well, your music itself kind of often delves into like thought-provoking commentary and touching on big issues. So how do you balance creating aesthetically pleasing and appealing music while addressing social and political issues?
How do you? I think those things go. I think those things go head to head.
Yeah.
If you're speaking in regards to how do I make sure it's in a way that is I guess easy digestible or in a way that doesn't really offend people. I think that's the thing. I think in order to kind of bring some sort of point across, you have to kind of risk offending people. And I think that's something that I never want to be fearful of bringing out something that's thought provoking to music out of fear of kind of coddling the people would think because I'm just not being true to myself and I'm doing people a disservice if I'm not being real with what I feel. And I think that's essentially what I think I even have to offer is that just being fearless in regards to what the message is. If I backstab that, then I'm no different. I'm homogenous in a group of like thousands and hundreds of thousands of artists.
Absolutely. Well, what are you working on at the moment? Do you have any more plans for projects on the way?
Yeah, yeah, I have at least like 18 tracks that are good to go. I'm always on the verge of releasing it, but then I'm very blessed where I have a good network of people where they'll tell me, "Hey man, I don't think this is hot. You know,
Hmm.
maybe let's look at it." So I have so many that are on the plate. I think the biggest thing is I don't just want the audio to be pleasing. As you said, I want the visuals to be appealing. I want it to really cultivate a really strong message. So in the creative space, it always takes such a long time, but
Yeah.
there's plenty on the way, plenty on the way.
Excellent. Well, in the meantime, where are we able to keep up to date with you and find this latest single, Griefscape?
Yeah, absolutely. So my social media, Instagram is at 780Masochist, and I'm on all social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and then as well as Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon Music, iTunes, all on there, 780 Masochist.
Excellent. Well, many thanks for joining us today. It's been great to have you here.
No, absolute pleasure. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much.